Hello and welcome. Today I have a very special episode of In the Garden with Patrick. We're on location here in San Elizario, Texas. And behind me is the Catholic Church. This was built in 1882. And it's a pretty amazing building. As you can see, the architecture is wonderful. The inside of the church is just beautiful. But we're here today because we're going to be visiting the Los Portales Museum, and what we're going to show you today is how to collect rain. So I'm here in the Los Portales Museum where Lorenzo and his team are working on making rain barrels and educating the city of San Elizario on how to collect rain water from making their own rain barrels. Right now, Lorenzo is making his own rain barrels, and we're going to show you that in just a second and how he does this. And he's teaching others how to collect their rainwater and how to do some really incredible gardening tips on what you can do to not only collect your rainwater, but also how you can use that to feed the water in other sources, whether that's a rain garden or just your raised bed garden that you are using at your home, and teaching others how they can do that themselves. This is the back of the museum, and this is where the rain barrels collect all that precious water.
Hello, my name is Lorenzo Lavano. I was born and raised here in San Eli. Gardening has always been a passion to me. I got introduced via this department because I started as a volunteer, then little by little I got more engaged in the program. I'm currently the Ag Extension Manager for the city of San Eli, and one of the main things, one focus is to teach people how to grow fruits and vegetables in the desert, which means of course using the water we do get via our rain harvesting program. One of the focus for creating a rain barrel is of course the budget, because a lot of people might not have the resources to create their own budget, their own rain barrel. But our focus is to create it such that it's fairly inexpensive. For instance, I use a drill bit, a jigsaw. For this setup, I use two 3/4 male adapters, 3/4 elbow. I use 4-inch PVC pipe, 2 pieces of that, regular PVC glue, then a drill bit to actually make the holes to connect the PVC pipe, and the threaded bulb for the water. And another thing you can add is this little connector, 3/4 to 1/2, which allow you to connect to the drip tape. Usually, as I get the barrels, I like to seal one of because it has 2 caps. The nice thing about the barrels is that you already have the threaded 3/4, so there's no need for extra tools or materials. So at first I just use PVC glue to seal one of the holes, which the other one I'm gonna use for the actual setup. Like I mentioned, just use a regular PVC glue, just in case, to prevent any water leakage. Then after that, going back to the threaded cap, what I use is this is a 5/8 spade bit. I just remove or create a hole within the cap without damaging the threaded lines. So this little hole it's going to allow us to actually drain the water whenever we do have water collected. So one of the currently I have 2 models per se. That's one of the models I've been working with. That's the actual first model. But since you can see, in order to use the water, we have to collect about 3 to 4 inches of water first before being able to use the water. Something that I didn't like, especially because here in the desert we don't have a lot of rain, so we want to be able to use as much water as we need it, and I have to wait. That's the reason I I did some research and found out about it's called an upside down rain barrel, which pretty much by me drilling a hole, it will allow us to collect and use the water as needed. So even if we get half an inch or less, the barrel will, by opening the bulb, we can actually use the water and not have to wait 3 to 4 inches. The next step of building a rain barrel is to actually start assembling the PVC pipe part. So like I mentioned, we connect the 3/4 male connector to the thread line. You can see it fits perfectly. Then after that, I install a 4-inch PVC pipe to the threaded connection. Then after that,
That's half inch. Or what's
3/4 PVC pipe. Then I install a 3/4 elbow. This little section pretty much allows the water to drain down. Then after that, I'm at the section which you can pretty much add a water hose or a drip tape to the actual setup. Then I'm adding the other section, the other 4-inch 3/4 PVC pipe. Then to adapt the bulb to the PVC pipe, it's another 3/4 mirror adapter. Then I don't put glue on this because just in case there's some technical difficulties and we need to change some parts. But pretty much this is a screw on. Then remember it's an upside down barrel. So right now this thing is going to be upside down. Then if you have drip tape, you can add a 3/4 to a drip tape connector to the setup. And that's pretty much all the connection and the PVC pipe setup. Like I mentioned, this is going to be upside down right now. The next step is to flip the barrel and cut the opening to actually collect the water. The next step is to flip over the barrel. But first I remove the connectors, that way we give them some time to dry. I flip the barrel. Then I just do to cut open the area, because this can be some the first rounds I had some trouble. I just will drill bit. I do 2 small holes. Then I get the jigsaw. Then of course, before even starting the whole building process, I wash the barrel maybe 2 or 3 times. They should be full grade, but we don't know. So just in case, I just wash them 2 to 3 times before actually assembling the barrel. Then this is where the actual, like I mentioned before, if the house doesn't have gutters, you can look at the wedges in the room, in the roof. That way you can see where the water tends to collect, and then you can put the water barrel underneath it. So this is the final setup. I think it took me like 10-15 minutes to build it. After you wash it, clean it, you connect everything, and like I mentioned, you can connect a water hose or even just a water container and open it, and the water will start flowing. This one of course doesn't have water because it's a new setup, but I've noticed that this setup compared to the other setup has more water pressure, which means it's going to be easier to water. This one, that's the only water pressure we have. But since that is an uptime barrel, gravity is working more towards pushing the water down the system. So that is going to have a quicker water rate flow, which is going to be a lot much simpler when gardening your fruits and vegetables. So another aspect of the rain barrels, it's the actual base. We don't want the barrels to sit ground level, because first this setup won't allow it because of the 4 inches difference. And also by creating a foundation for the rain barrels, you can increase the water pressure used by gravity. So the taller the foundation, for instance, this we use wood to create a foundation, but there's also different resources to create a foundation, like cinder blocks or crates. But the higher the foundation, the higher the flow rate, which, like I mentioned before, it makes everything easier to water and not have to struggle bending so much. You can even put a waist level. That way it's fits perfectly to your needs. So right now we're at one of the two demonstration gardens we have here in Sanelli. This is located in Ted Richardson Park. The idea about this little space is to show people how a rain harvesting system can be duplicated at the homes. The roofs are just a model to show the people that you can collect water via roof. These roofs are very limited and only serve the purpose of the bed, but there's formulas online and on Google which you can calculate the square feet of your roof, and with that number and the number of inches we get of rain in El Paso, you can calculate how many gallons of water you can collect throughout the season. Even a small roof can collect a good amount of rain. This model basically, this one does have gutters, so whenever it rains, the water collects in the gutter. It has a protecting mesh. The water collects in the barrel. Once we need the water to water our beds, you can just open the little valve. And of course, this bed is not finished because I need to reinstall the drip tape. But the connector I talked about earlier is going to go here. Then this one connected directly to the drip tape, which is going to water the water by itself. Some of the future projects, we're a small team, but we have a lot of projects coming up in mind. One of the projects is to create a water bank here in our region, starting here in Sanelli. Similar to people being able to sell back their electricity to Paso Electric, we want to create a model that allows people to harvest their own rain. Maybe they are not interested in growing their own garden, but they can sell back the water to local farmers or the water district. That way people can grow their fruits and vegetables. That's one project that surrounds water. Another project that has been in the works maybe 1 or 2 years is to create a chicken co-op in Sanelli and in our region. Especially I know here in Sanelli a lot of people have chickens. I'm pretty sure also in El Paso County. So we want to create a co-op of chicken eggs. That way people don't have to buy or go to the big retail. They can buy locally from local chicken farmers. So this project started after our department submitted an application to USDA for the proposal of rain harvesting. Since we did receive the grant, the grant only focuses on giving barrels to citizens in Sanelli within the city limits of San Elizario area. But the idea is to get more of a snowball effect. That way more people, more cities, more counties can jump into the idea of rain harvesting. So I don't have gutters at home, but I know where the water rains collects, because the roofs pretty much create a wedge. So whenever the water falls, I just put a barrel underneath the wedges of the roof. That's why I can collect as many as 6 barrels if we get a good amount of rain in a week. This started as a personal project. I introduced the idea of rain harvesting to a team. That's where I started creating a connection with Coca-Cola, since we knew that they had the rain barrels. So what a better way to recycle barrels from them to use it as rain barrels. Then after that, the next connection was working with the school districts and independent school district to showcase our local students their art in a way that not only connects local art but also agriculture. So that's the idea of the painted rain barrels. Los Portales Museum has been a very good partner with us, with our department. So the next art exhibit that the museum is going to have is going to talk about water. The plan is to have an art agriculture exhibit every year. This exhibit is going to open, I believe, on April, and it's going to be a 3-year series. Hopefully it can be longer than 3 years. But the first series is going to showcase water here in our region. How do people see water? Maybe people see water as a negative thing. Whenever it rains, they just think about potholes and flooding. Other people might see rain as beneficial because they're used to gardening and collecting water with their pots, buckets, or whatnot. So we're trying to create that water story in our region. That way we can start creating policy changes or maybe create incentives for more people to have access to the ability to rain harvest. So people usually get the rain barrels if they reach out to me via my city email, my city contact information. Now after that, I do a site visit to talk to them about the interest in gardening or why they want to do rain harvesting. And after that, I build the rain barrels for them. Then I deliver. Then I told them pretty much like the next steps. For example, I delivered 4 rain barrels this week. I told them where to put the rain barrels, then the idea of starting to grow peppers, chile and tomate, that aligns with the workshops I do every year. I do 2 workshops per year in-house at our nonprofits, Familia Triunfadoras Inc. in Ayuda Inc., which allows people to attend the workshops and learn from, not only from me, but from the community members. Our workshops are also hosted. That way I can learn from the community, because we know a lot of people do have that connection. They have the experience, the knowledge, and they maybe have the secrets that we don't know growing something here in the desert. So that's also another avenue which people can attend and sign up. I'm right now, I have a waiting list, but little by little I'm gonna start delivering those barrels as I get more barrels and more supplies.
So thanks for watching the special edition of In the Garden with Patrick. We're here on site at the Los Portales Museum in front of the historic San Elizario Mission Church. And I want to thank you for watching this. If you like this video, please press the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please consider subscribing. And again, if you are interested in learning more about how to collect your own rainwater in these barrels, and if you're doing any kind of rain collection in your neighborhood, or you want to start something like this, put a comment below and let everybody else know what you're doing and how you're collecting rainwater in your community. Until next time, happy gardening.